Hello everyone and welcome to episode 9 of the Local to Global save here on TEW9. The year is now 1999 and we are just getting right into the action here with Alive in Edinburgh, and as you can see we're kicking off hot today. The reason I've come back here is just not much has really happened in the last month other than I may have forgot to sign a few wrestlers, so we might get pinged on this show for having less people than we should have. Potentially. So we'll see how that goes. But signings are afoot, and we are hopefully going to start building a bit of a new roster going forward for 1999 as well. First things first though, before I get into this incredible start to the show, just a heads up, I'm recording this on the 27th of August. So episode 8 comes out tomorrow. This is Monday's episode, and then I'm going to try and record next week's episode as well. I'm quite busy over the next few weeks. I mentioned this on the WSW save, so just mention that again here. So I'm going to be a little bit ahead on videos, so apologies if I haven't got to anything. I will obviously do my best to respond in the comments, but I may also not be near my PC or laptop for some of those days. So again, apologies if I'm a bit slower replying and if I'm not sort of getting to you as much on any requests or notes that you guys have left. But we're going to get right into it. I think I've replied to everything up until this point regarding you guys' comments, especially some of the ones about people and potentially I could hire. But we'll go through all that as we go. But let's just get right into the show. And it starts with a superb promo from Juventud Guerrera. A 72 rated segment. I genuinely can't believe that. We're in front of 106 people as well. So that's all good news for me. But Juve comes down to the ring. He's still feeling the effects of that brutal cage match nearly a month ago at Christmas in the Gardens. But he thanks the fans for their support, their well wishes, even the cards, and says his focus has never been clearer. He's earned this title match with Doug Williams and says that he's going to give it his all when that time comes. Now, I'm not sure when we should do the match with Doug and Juve. I'm debating putting on a show around Easter time, like a bigger show, because that would be like April, August, December, so it would be every sort of 4 months. It'll be 3 a year, so I'm thinking that's the plan, and the main event will be Juve versus Doug, but I need to think of a name for it. I'll think of something, don't worry. We then follow that up with a slightly less good promo, but it's everybody's favourite, the People's Champions of the Dominator and the Gravedigger. They make a spectacular entrance. It also says fresher for win. I think I've booked this wrong. I've confused myself here. I've written fresher for big win and then they come to the ring for their match. Anyway, 1998 was an incredible year. 1999, this final year of this millennium, is going to be even better. And to not give spoilers away, but to give spoilers away, they win their match. They defeat Jody Fleisch and PJ Black with the Tombstone Piledriver to make defence number 4 of the tag team titles. It gets a 44 overall, so it's a pretty good match, all things considered. Fleisch and PJ Black is just seeing if we can find some chemistry going forward, but nothing. Unfortunately, no notes. It's fine though. It is what it is. We are still just rolling along. The tag division's not really a thing yet, so we're just sort of getting our groundings on this one. And then, now, shout out to a Simple Crisis on the YouTube comments. He knows this is coming. I've already told him. So this guy's a great supporter of the channel so far, but he had a fantastic idea with Chris Diamond. Now, I've been joking about Chris Diamond being a sad-looking Billy Corgan for a while. And his recommendations, I say his, I assume it's a male. I mean, like, I don't think many women are watching the TW saves on YouTube, but I will stand corrected if so. Their idea was the Smashing Diamonds. He creates his own band and they do music videos, and very similar to like Jeff Jarrett in the mid-90s WWF, you know, with the performances, with the roadie and all of that. And then, in my view, I've been watching a lot of 2008 TNA recently as part of a project. If you ever want to hear about any of these projects in wrestling or my opinions and stuff, just let me know. I have a spreadsheet. It's a big one. But I love the rock and rave infection, where Jimmy Rave and Lance Hoyt, now Lance Archer, and Christy Hemme would come out with Guitar Hero guitars, and they would have this big stupid intro where Christy Hemme would scream sing about the rock and rave infection, and then Jimmy Rave would always grab a mic and say, "We love you, Topeka," even though they were always in Orlando at the Impact Zone. And then Lance Rock, as he was known at that time, would then say something stupid about getting infected tonight. I loved them. They were goofs, but they were great. So Chris Diamond's going to do that. He makes an appearance and says that he has something special planned up his sleeve, and that next month all will become clear, and he invites you to a world premiere next month. And he also appears to be sporting a look with a big trench coat similar to a bald singer who in 2025 owns a wrestling company, for what that's worth for anyone. Now, we are going to change his gimmick. My game is running incredibly slow, but we are going to change him to... he's got a good gimmick already. We're changing him to a musician. It got a poor rating, but the game's wrong, because this is all going to be fantastic. But yeah, Chris Diamond, teasing something new. Now obviously you guys will see about that in the next few minutes, what we've got planned. I think it's a good, silly bit of fun. Afterwards, in the pleasant surprise, John Ryan and Conscience have a really good match at 39. They've got great chemistry as well, so that's surprising. But John Ryan gets the win. A 39 overall rated match. Good stuff. We're keeping John Ryan strong. John Ryan, of course, I think is going to be a bit of a featured player for us going forward. Conscience is just a guy at this point. And in our main event, I just needed a Doug Williams title match, so I figured, who's he not faced? He's not faced LT Summers, so he beat LT Summers to make defense number 14 of the title. A 55 rating for him, 29 for LT Summers is okay. And he gets a 47 overall, which is a really good main event, which means the show should be pretty good actually. Again, when the PC decides to ever load the next screen. Any day game. No joke, that was probably about 20 seconds by the way that took, Jesus. Anyway, 53 overall rating, that's a really strong show. It increased our popularity in one region as well, so hopefully we've gone up in size. I am really going to have to throw this PC out the window because it's not even, like, it's so slow for some reason. So, praise. I think we're going to give Conscience and, what's his name, John Ryan some praise here, because I thought they did pretty good. It's a good match between those two guys. I wasn't expecting it either. And then financial report, we have only lost 384 on this show. We've made 848 in ticket sales, which is really good. And popularity, we are still at 18. So we're still not going up. I normally would talk over this, but I dread to think how long this is going to take, so I'll just see you guys in a couple seconds. About 3 minutes to do, and I am very close to throwing this PC out the window. So, Castle Pro Live last night in Edinburgh, feedback has been awesome. I think that's one of our best ever shows. If we look at our top 100, that is our best ever show. Yeah, so I was right in thinking that was a really good show. That was our best ever show, which is outstanding. Really for us, especially considering how weak the economy still is, which is very annoying. But yeah, I'm happy with that. Now, some news that we do have. Okay, so one of you guys had mentioned about Axel Dieter, and I was going to bring Axel Dieter in because he is a very, very good road agent. Jesus, man, very, very good. However, he is based in Central Europe. And I was hoping that we could convince him to move over here after a while, but he is obviously retiring, so that's fine. Other names that we're looking to bring in, we have 5. Now, as you can see on the side, we need 16 active wrestlers, we only have 13 at the moment, so we need to hire some guys. So Low Key is currently on tour with All Star Wrestling. I'm going to bring Low Key in and leave him in our roster and use him when he's in the UK. Basically, Justin Starr impressed me enough that we're going to bring him back for a little while. Ian Harrison we're bringing in. I can show you all these guys in down the road. Ian Harrison, if memory serves, I feel like he was in the WWA. I don't think he ever made an appearance in TNA, but he might have made one in the very early days. A big muscle guy, steroids all over the place. Darren Burridge is coming in, and we're going to bring Steve Wilde back for 9 months because he's a freelancer. But Steve Wilde is part of the plan. Now, I also want to show you, because I like it, we've got a stable on the go. The Smashing Diamonds. We've got a little logo knocking off the Smashing Pumpkins logo. Chris Diamond's obviously, and they're definitely not the Smashing Pumpkins, by the way. Definitely not. Yeah, Chris Diamond, we're going to have a lot of fun with him. I am going to stop recording now. I am going to punch the ever-living bejesus out of this PC. And then for you guys, it'll be like 4 seconds when I'm back. But for me, it'll be, I don't know, 17 days, possibly. And we're going to book the February show of Castle Pro Wrestling. That took way too long. So, just before we come into today's show, Chris Diamond has changed his body type from average to toned, which is good. We asked him to do that, so nice that it's already happened. Now, FWA has formed and has proceeded to sign almost all of our roster. And one thing I haven't looked at is when they run shows, and I think we're going to be okay for the time being. We just need to keep an eye on that for FWA when they do start running some shows, because that's going to be very annoying if they have half of our workforce. They're already nearly $5,000 in debt. They've only been a company for 2.5 weeks. But yeah, it's time for a show, really. I mean, there's nothing else really to mention since then. We've signed all the people that were spoken about. Is Low Key based? No. So Low Key is based back in the Tri-State. When did these tour end? Why was it? Of course it was the day that we signed them, wasn't it? So we'll wait and see if Low Key goes on tour again. He won't be on the show tonight, obviously. We're not paying for wrestlers from the Tri-State to come on here. But yeah, just thought I'd bring you back just to let you know that had happened. And I'm going to go book the show. And hopefully this will take 20 seconds. And we are live in front of 110 people here in Edinburgh. We have reduced the tickets to very cheap, by the way, to try and get that popularity bounce. And we've gained a few fans as well, so that's good. But we open the show with Chris Diamond. He comes to the ring with an acoustic guitar, of all objects. He sits down. He welcomes the fans of Castle Pro to the world premiere of The Shining Diamonds. And again, thank you to Simple Crisis in the comments. He proceeds to sing a song that sounds very, very similar to Tonight Tonight by the Smashing Pumpkins, while asking the fans to believe in me. Now, for anyone not aware, that's a line in the song Tonight Tonight. He then introduces the two newest members of the Shining Diamonds, and he brings out Justin Starr and Steve Wilde, who are in tag action next. They've both got good ratings for their initial rating for their new gimmicks as well. Musician and a rock and roller, because Justin Starr couldn't do the musician gimmick. So good stuff. And they'll sell more merchandise than usual. So, you know, well done, Justin Starr. But yeah, good stuff. 34 overall. I mean, it's not an amazing start, but I really like it. That's what matters. And also, I like that they all have surnames that are quite rock and rollish. You know, Diamond, Star, Wild. Good fun. Here are the Smashing Diamonds. They are obviously now a stable as well, and they are a tag team. And as a tag team, they get a win. They defeat the debuting Darren Burridge and PJ Black when Steve Wilde submits Darren Burridge. Darren Burridge also getting a very good initial rating for his gimmick. I think it's a 31 in ring as well. It's a very good performance by Darren Burridge. In a solid match, 36 overall, but I put the Smashing Diamonds. I need to change that. I just realised I wrote the Smashing Diamonds. I'll change that after the show. But yeah, they pick up a huge win in their first action as tag teams, Annoyingly, no, chemistry. No, which is a bit unfortunate, but good win for the Diamonds. We then have Doug Williams, who comes to the ring and says 1999 is going to be a special year for both him and Castle Pro. Even if things seem to be getting really weird around here, people doing concerts, guys walking around in the dark threatening to shoot lightning out of their fingers. That's sort of threatening wrong as well. However, he wants to address Hoovy and says he was more than impressed, and admittedly a little pleased that he got the best of Roughneck back in December. That title match is his, but Doug says they've faced off before and Doug got the win, so Hoovy is really going to have to unleash that inner warrior of his to try and take the title off of him. It's a great promo by Doug Williams. It's a 50. I have committed as well, I've not created the event yet, but we will be doing Doug versus Hoovy at whatever the Easter show ends up being. So the plan for this episode is to do March and then April's live in Edinburgh. And then next episode we'll start with the big show in April, which will be headlined by that big main event. Up next, John Ryan defeats Roughneck. So Roughneck trying to get back into the swing of things, and he loses to John Ryan, and he's completely outclassed by John Ryan as well. He gets a 38. The creative finish was a failure, which is fine. I just needed to use some up. But they have great chemistry. John Ryan has had great chemistry with quite a few different people now. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, Roughneck, I mean, I like Roughneck. Roughneck has been a very pivotal part for these first 2 years of Castle Pro, but I think his time is up as a top guy. We will now start bringing him down the card. John Ryan's definitely taking his place overall. And in our main event, it's not a good one. It's a very poor main event, actually. This was a risk. So we've put Ian Harrison straight into the main event. He's not popular at all, and he gets a 17. The match gets a 31. The creative finish was a failure, and Hoovy and Ian have no chemistry. So let's just move on to the end of the show. Hoovy gets the win. It gets a 35. It's not a great show. It's a very poor show compared to last month. But crucially, we've put a show on, basically. Let's give Steve Wilde... Actually, no, you know what? Let's give Darren Burridge and John Ryan some praise, because they had two very good performances in this show. And we've lost 479, so we've lost about 200 in ticket sales. But we've gone up to 19, so that was my more important thing. I wanted us to get up in popularity to 19, which is good. So the very cheap tickets kind of worked. We've lost about 100 more than usual. Last month, by the way, we made $3. That's how bad the economy is in the save right now. Like, you see everybody else doing a local to global, and after a year or two, you know, they're making consistent profit. They're like definitely on the up and up. Like, I've been watching a few guys. I'm going to shout them out now while we're waiting for the game to load. Obviously, there's Anders Spike Pile Driver Wrestling doing a very fun local to global save. We also have El Dorado Wrestling. Give him a shout out. He's doing something really fun. He's doing it's kind of like a quasi PWG, similar area of the US. I think he's northwest rather than southwest, but I'm really enjoying his one as well. And like, he's starting to make money. They're making $1,000 a month, and here's me with $3 of profit because my economy is so bad. It's not fair. It's really not fair. But yeah, go check those guys out, especially El Dorado Wrestling. His is really good. He deserves more subscribers. I don't think he's actually hit 100 yet, so I would definitely go and subscribe to him. Watch his. It's a lot of fun. A lot more well-known names as well, because it's the sort of peak indie period of like 2004 he's starting in. So definitely give him a look. But yeah, our economy in the toilet. Everybody else, by the way, other than Mexico, is rising, but we are struggling big time. And as you see, we made $3 last month. The sponsorship is again terrible, but I'm hoping if we keep with very cheap tickets for a couple shows, we can then build that up to be like so that the sponsorship, even though it's still bad, outweighs the ticket prices, like the loss of income from tickets. Hopefully, I mean, ideally by March show we'll have had the email that's of the note here will be gone that the economy is better, but I'm not holding my breath. Now, tag teams. I need to change. No, it is the Smashing Diamonds. I'm talking a load of rubbish. Hang on. Am I getting myself confused here? Hang on. I'm just going to do this live. I can't bother editing this out. Come on, YouTube. You're a poor platform. Oh, for God's sake. You try and click the notification to see your comments and nothing actually loads. It's brilliant, eh? Yeah, Smashing Diamonds. Yeah, I was right. That's not what I'm talking about. Ignore me. I'm just talking complete rubbish. You've probably already realised that's what happens a lot here anyway. No one really on the Hidden Gems screen, so I think we are just going to move ahead. This takes so long to simulate that I'm actually going to do it on my laptop and record part of the WCW video while this does it. So, yeah. It's bad. Don't play a long save on a bad computer, folks. It's not worth it. But we'll be back in March. I have nothing booked for March. I need to delete this because I just changed a bit of the angle. Nothing booked for March, and I need to create a show for April, which will be when in April, actually. That's a good question. So live in Edinburgh is going to be the 16th, so we'll probably do it for maybe that last weekend in April. But that doesn't really matter. I'll see you guys in just a second, and we shall book. So it's been a little while since I last recorded a part of this episode of this save, but we had a really good show planned tonight, and something has come up that means we don't have a good show. So Doug opens the show, thanking fans for coming in tonight, and says he was due a special match tonight. The company had brought in a hot upcoming talent from the US, low key, but he hasn't shown up for the show. So instead, they found an old friend in Lexus who was backstage, and once Doug wins, it's time for him and Juvi to come face to face. So I had booked Low-Key. Low-Key is working for All-Star tonight, annoyingly. So yeah, I had to go to the local worker screen, and literally it was Lexus, and that was it. So there's your main event, folks. Look forward to it. Up next, the Smashing Diamonds come to the ring, and Chris Diamond says there'll be no special concert tonight. That'll be happening at our big event in April. Tonight. However, they have something exciting for the fans and announced that they'll be competing as a band for the first time tonight, so bring on the opponents. When suddenly the lights dim, the atmosphere gets intense as the Dominator and the Gravedigger appear to accept the challenge, with Ian Harrison in tow because another person was required for a 6-man match. And also, to shock nobody, I needed somebody to take the fall. So, you know, the Smashing Diamonds pick up the win. Ian Harrison takes the fall from Chris Diamond with the melancholy and the infinite sadness. Annoyingly, I'm really annoyed that melon is spelt wrong for this joke because I couldn't fit one more character in, which is really annoying. But 38's a decent match. Ian Harrison, obviously the worst guy by far. But this sets up two things. So one, it gives the Diamonds another win, and it creates a tag title match at the big show in April, where it'll be the Dominator and the Gravedigger versus the Smashing Diamonds for the tag titles. So we'll actually have our first proper tag team title match with actual tag teams in the company, which is good. Up next, Juvi defeats Darren Burridge with the Juvi driver 42. A bit disappointing, Darren Burridge off his game after his really good performance last month, but Juvi gets the win. Simple enough. It then sets up our main event, which actually gets a 49, so it's not bad. Doug defeats Lexus in 8 minutes to make defence number 15 of the National Championship. Doug, easy win for Doug Williams here. Lexus was never going to pose any sort of threat, but afterwards we get a 54 ending segment as Juvi comes down to the ring after Doug's match. They exchange some words, they shake each other's hands, and Juvi makes the belt gesture to say, I'm coming for this next month at whatever the show in April is going to be called. It's me and you, Doug, for the title. 54 rated. The show gets a 49, which is pretty good. It's one of our best ever shows, considering we threw together that main event. I'll take that any day of the week. Let's give some praise out. Let's give Chris Diamond some praise. And let's give Ian Harrison some encouragement. You know, we lost 557, which isn't ideal, but we did go up to 20 popularity, so that's good. So the very cheap tickets trade-off is that we're gaining the popularity quicker, which hopefully means that difference in income will become sort of redundant soon. We did lose money last month. I believe it was something silly like $66. I'll show you that on the screen once the game actually loads. It's moving a lot faster now, so that's, you know, positive signs at least. PC and me have had some words, and those words were not pleasant. But good show. We're trying to spinning the wheels a little bit. We're building things for this April show. I don't have a name for it yet. I will think of something by the time I record the episode. So obviously feel free to drop some suggestions, but I'm just thinking I need to think of something Edinburgh based for April. And I'm not really coming up with anything so far, so I might just have to make it like a special venue or something. We shall see. But that's fine. Johnny Moss, don't really care. So yeah, we lost $66 last month. And this month, I mean, if we gain another 200 in sponsorships, we're probably going to lose money again. We did make more ticket sales, but we're not making anywhere near as much as we made here, because the industry is still terrible. It's never going to change, is it? So it is what it is, though. Like, we've got I can delete that because we didn't book that in the end. Yeah, we've got one more live in Edinburgh, which will be the final part of this episode, and then we will start the build for the April show, which I will think of a name for as the game simulates, because that always takes about 7 years. But good stuff. The tag titles haven't been finished for 2 months. That'll change obviously at the April show. It will be the Smashing Diamonds taking on the Dominator and the Gravedigger. And while we're here, actually, let's just create the tag team now. Or not game. Thank you. So we want Steve Wilde and we want Justin Starr, and they are the Smashing Diamonds. Obviously, we're not going to have Chris Diamond in the tag team. Chris Diamond is very much the single star of the group. What is he doing? He is still not popular, but he's up to 10. So, you know, don't look too sad, mate. Also, cool momentum. Like, you've been in matches, you've been winning. You've been on TV. Well, not TV, but you've been on the shows. Anyway, we're up to 20, so that's good. You know, like, we're getting there. Slowly, but we are getting there. So we shall see what money situation is at the end of March, and I'll be back in 27 days. That's going to take God knows how long to simulate. And we will book this final show. You know, I think this episode has taken me about 6 hours to make today. I've been like doing the WCW save stuff on the side, and I've just not left this computer today. But I've got good news. 120 people are here. 2, we have a name and a logo for our next show. And 3, this episode is almost over. So, the Smashing Diamonds opened the show by defeating Johnny Storm and Darren Burridge when Steve Wilde submits Johnny Storm. A good performance by everybody, really. Gets the crowd up to a hot start. 35 overall. And up next, Chris Diamond comes out and announces at Graps on the Grass Market there will be 2 special events. First of all, Tag Gold is coming to the Smashing Diamonds, but arguably more importantly, Chris Diamond will reveal his brand new song for the band. I know, exciting times. A new song from Chris Diamond and the Smashing Diamonds. but also they're going to win the tag titles against everybody's favourite. Good luck promo, 34 overall, crowd's white hot. And yes, the April show next Friday will be called Graps on the Grass Market. Because why not? I've got a logo made up and everything, and yeah, that'll be the first part of the next episode. Jody Fleisch then defeats Roughneck, as Roughneck just continues to fall down the pecking order here. He's got 30 in ring, outshined by Jody Fleisch. I don't know when Roughneck's contract is up, but I think he's done. We're just going to use him now to get wins for guys who we want to get wins. Simple enough. And then in our de facto main event of the evening, it's a very poor match at 29, as John Ryan was off his game and PJ Black got a bruised eye socket after John Ryan beats him. Was it John Ryan's fault? No. Okay, good. And in the main event angle, Doug and Hoovy come out to end the show and say they've both agreed to a stipulation for the match at Graps on the Grass Market. The two best wrestlers in the company need to show who the best wrestler in the UK is, so it'll be a 2 out of 3 falls match for the national championship. They shake hands, tensions are on the rise a little bit, but all seems fair in Love and War. A 57 rated segment to end it. The show gets a disappointing 35, but we'll live with that. I mean, that's not the end of the world. Let's give praise to Justin Starr and Steve Wilde. Keep everybody happy. PJ Black's out for 2 weeks. That's fine. It might just mean he's not featuring on the next show. 500 in the red is not ideal. We also don't go up a popularity point, but hopefully that will change with Graps on the Grass Market, which I will. So we're currently very cheap tickets. I think for Graps on the Grass Market, I'm going to put the ticket prices to normal to try and maximise our income and just see where we're sort of at in general. With Graps on the Grass Market, I don't know if you're familiar with Edinburgh, but there's the Grass Market, this little shopping bar area. Yeah, you can walk up to the Royal Mail and the castle steps. There's big steps to go up towards the castle. It also then filters onto like Lothian Road and the tourist street that I've forgotten the name of right now, with all the shops. Victoria Street, I think. So you know, it's a big touristy area. We can imagine we've set up a ring in the middle. It's April, it's bank holiday maybe, I don't know, or it's Easter holidays. Bring the kids along to the wrestling, you know, all that fun stuff. I'm just going to let this do its thing and then I'll come back in a second, by the way. This takes ages. Typically like 10 seconds after that and it's done. Anyway, PJ Black's injured, we know that already, but it was a good show from Castle Pro. A very good show. Mainly positive, 35 overall, 120 people in attendance. We lost $98 last month, which is very annoying. And we're probably going to lose. We're not making money again, which is a bit concerning. We're halfway through year 3 and the money's not good. But this is the Graps on the Grass Market logo. I guess it's just AI. I hate using AI for these things, but until I earn money off this YouTube channel and then pay someone to make it for me, I don't have the money really to be spending on that. But there we go. Ticket pricing, we will make normal. Like all of our events, the ticket pricing is normal. And yeah, Graps on the Grass Market. So far, we have 2 matches booked. We have Juventud Guerrera versus Doug Williams in the 2 out of 3 falls, and the Dominator and the Gravedigger taking on the Smashing Diamonds. I probably need to book another few matches. Loki, I don't think will be available because he's gone from All-Star again. I suppose we could have a look at who's available and bring in some people for 1-show contracts. But to be honest, this list just isn't really impressing me that much. Like, we've got a lot of genuinely terrible wrestlers available. So I mean, I could bring in Big Bully Busick. But yeah, like, I'm not spending 400 on anybody. So yeah, we're probably just going to run the roster that we've got. I mean, Frankie Kazarian. I'm going to give Kazarian a 1 appearance contract, and hopefully we can get him used. When do All-Star run their shows? It's my next question. Anybody else that I've not looked at before? Not really. All-Star Wrestling UK. How do I find your events? So, I mean, the tour looks like it ends today. Then they've got the big time wrestling show next week. We'll see what happens with Kazarian. We'll leave you on that little cliffhanger. There's Castle Pro Wrestling, looking beautiful as ever. You know, like it's great. Wayne Pickford's extended his deal, by the way. Roughneck's up in 72 days. Doug Williams is up in 70 days. What's he wanting? 90 per show. Okay, we'll deal with that in a couple months. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. We'll be back in a few days' time with Graps on the Grass Market. And then, I don't know how many shows we'll do next episode. It might just be June, July. May, June, potentially, sorry. I'll see how the vibes are and what time I've got to record that. But thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support has been incredible on this series. Again, apologies if I haven't got to anything that you wanted to see. I am just trying to front load these videos quite a bit. And yeah, like, subscribe, comment, all that usual nonsense. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching and goodbye.